Once upon a time in college football, conferences made sense. You want to have a team from Northern California playing a team from South Florida on a Saturday night. Rivalries made sense and geographical location dictated who played against who. So today, with the help of Reddit, I have realigned college football back to its roots. And we're going to follow along for the next 5 seasons to see if these new conferences either help or hinder parity amongst teams in this new college football landscape. Now, first up, we got the Yankee Conference. There's Penn State, Maryland, Navy, Buffalo, Army, Rutgers, Boston College, Syracuse, Temple, Pitt, UConn, and UMass. Then there's South Appalachia. We got Liberty, James Madison, Coastal, Appalachian State, North Carolina State, Old Dominion, Virginia Tech, North Carolina, Clemson, Duke, Charlotte, South Carolina, Virginia, East Carolina, and Wake Forest. Next up, we got the Deep South Conference. Florida State, Georgia, Georgia Tech, USF, Miami, FIU, UAB, UCF, FAU, Florida, Georgia State, Georgia Southern, and Kennesaw State. Next up, there's the Gulf Coast Conference. We got Troy, Alabama, Tulane, Jacksonville State, Ole Miss, Memphis, LSU, Arkansas State, Louisiana Tech, South Alabama, Auburn, Louisiana Raging Cajuns, Mississippi State, Southern Mississippi, Arkansas, and ULM. Next up, there's the Texas 12. We got Texas, SMU, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, UT, Rice, Texas State, UTEP, Texas Tech, Texas A&M, North Texas, TCU, Houston, Tulsa, Baylor, and Sam Houston State. Now, the reason why 2 Oklahoma teams are in the Texas 12 conference is because this conference idea I got was from a college football revamp post, and some of these teams weren't in that game. And when it came to the Great Plains Conference, I felt like Oklahoma State and Oklahoma didn't really fit that much. And when it came to the Great Plains Conference, I didn't really feel like Oklahoma and Oklahoma State fit that conference geographically. Next up, we got the Great Lakes Athletic Conference. Michigan, Miami of Ohio, Ohio State, Toledo, Ohio, Ball State, Akron, Purdue, Kent State, Michigan State, Indiana, and Cincinnati. Then next up, we got the Great Midwest, Louisville, NIU, Western Kentucky, Middle Tennessee State, Northwestern Tennessee, Western Michigan, West Virginia, Kentucky, Illinois, Marshall, Vandy, and Notre Dame. And this is the Great Plains Conference: Iowa, Missouri, Iowa State, Kansas State, Bowling Green, Eastern Michigan, Wisconsin, Central Michigan, Kansas, Western Michigan, Minnesota, and Nebraska. Now you see why I didn't feel like Oklahoma fit here. Now there's the Rocky Mountain Conference: New Mexico State, UNLV, Boise State, Arizona, Air Force, Wyoming, Utah, Utah State, Colorado State, Arizona State, New Mexico, BYU, and Colorado. And last but not least, the Pacific Conference: Washington, Oregon, San Jose State, Oregon State, USC, Fresno State, Cal, UCLA, Hawaii, Washington State, Nevada, Stanford, and San Diego State. Now, as I was prepping to make this video, I did see that Bordeaux put out a map of what college football conferences will look like based off of geographical location, but I've had this video in the works months and months and months ahead of that. This was the only conference geographical relocation that was on Reddit at the time. And I'm only putting this on the screen because there's always dick boys in the comments, but as you can see, I had prepped and planned this video way back in August. I just never recorded it. Now take a look at the conference championships in just the first season. In the South Appalachia Conference, we got Clemson taking on Virginia Tech. In the Pacific Conference, we got Fresno State taking on Oregon. In the Great Plains Conference, we got Nebraska taking on Kansas. In the Yankee Conference, we got Syracuse taking on Penn State. In the Gulf Coast Conference, we got Louisiana taking on Ole Miss. In the Great Midwest Conference, we got Notre Dame taking on Illinois. In the Rocky Mountain Conference, we got Utah taking on Colorado. In the Texas 12 Conference, we got Oklahoma taking on Texas A&M. In the Deep South Conference, we got Miami taking on Florida, a rivalry game. And in the Great Lakes Athletic Conference, we got Ohio State taking on Indiana. All right, boys, so the first conference championship game is going to be the Yankee Conference. Penn State taking on Syracuse. This should be a good one. So Penn State actually ran away with this game late, and they win 27-10, and they are going to be conference championship winners here. Penn State is your first conference champion of the sim. All right, boys, next up in the Great Plains Conference, we got Kansas taking on Nebraska. Both of these teams were a little mediocre this season, so I'm not really sure who's going to win. All right, boys, so late in the fourth quarter, Nebraska is driving down the field. They just forced a punt, 17-14, down 3. Ken Raiola in this offense makes something shake. Certain offenses just aren't that good. They do hand it off there, and he breaks the tackle. He's got a first down and more. He's across the 50. Shotgun, we got twin receivers on the right side. It's another handoff to Dowdell, and he nearly breaks that tackle, picking up 5. Can they extend the drive? They're not in field goal range yet. Raiola back to pass. He has time, and that one's going to be picked off. It was a boneheaded pass, and Kansas is going to take that to the crib, Pick six. That's huge here with 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So Nebraska on their next drive goes down and scores to get down 3. A big third down here with 1 timeout, 1:31 left in the game. Jalen Daniels back to pass, and that one is stopped short. After an 18-yard reception, Nebraska is in field goal range. 35 seconds left. Remember, they have no more timeouts, but they're utilizing a lot of clock here. Not really sure why they're running it down. Raiola back to pass. He has time. He scrambles. He's looking downfield, surveying. He's got to get rid of the ball. He takes a horrible sack. 20 seconds left here. No timeouts. Terrible sack by the freshman. 2nd and 11. Back to pass once again. They only rush 4. There's a lot of pressure in his face. This time he does get rid of the ball, throwing it away. So Nebraska is going to take the long kick, but they're going to get iced by Kansas. They come back out here on the second try from the 42-yard line. The kick is up. The kick is good. And as it stands right now, we're heading to OT. Here in overtime, Kansas gets the rock first, picking up from the 25. We all know the college football rules. We love them. Jalen Daniels is going to go with a play action. He rolls out to his right. He throws a strike, but it's dropped at the 5-yard line. One would only guess that they don't want to settle for 3. But the Nebraska defense is stepping up big time. Daniels down the seam. It's a dot. It's a touchdown. Kansas goes up 6. Now it's Nebraska's turn here on offense. Nothing is out of reach here because we see what Kansas did on 3rd and long. Raiola taking a shot, and it's picked off, and that's going to be the ball game. He threw a pick 6 early in the game that almost iced it, but this time that one is over. 31-24 is your final score. Next up, we will be playing for the Gulf Coast Conference Championship. And I messed up here. Clearly, I didn't make the conference championship game at a neutral site. All right, boys. So Ole Miss was never in danger of losing this one as they win 35-17. Nothing to jump in and see. And they are going to be year 1 champs of the Gulf Coast Conference. Here we are playing for the Great Midwest Conference, and believe it or not, Fighting Illini are the #1 team in the nation. They are undefeated, 12-0. They are the favorites heading into this game. So under 2 minutes left here, 3rd and 3. Illinois is trying to get the ball back, down 4. At the very worst, they can hold them to 3 if they get a stop here. And it's going to be a pass right off for the line of scrimmage. They sold out for the run. They guessed wrong. Notre Dame is set up to win this one. The fact that Illinois wasn't set up to play the pass at all there on that last play, they lose this one by 11. But like I said, they were the #1 team in the nation. More than likely, they are going to be in the college football playoff no matter what. Next up, we are playing for the Rocky Mountain Championship. We got Colorado taking on Utah. Down 3 here, under 2 minutes left. Utah driving, trying to at least tie this ball game. There's a flag on the play immediately. Is it going to be offsides by Colorado? It is. All right, boys, so down 3 here. Utah trying to put a drive together to tie this one up as they pick up the first down. 1st and 10, rising back to pass, surveying. No real pressure up front, but he actually ends up getting sacked. He gets his self-sack there. 2nd and 17 there after the sack. Colorado's D-line is just pinning their ears back. They go underneath there, and they're going to get a nice chunk of yards, picking up 6. So if you can't pick up the first, I would say make the 3rd down, the 4th down a lot more manageable. He has a great pocket all day to throw or run. He does pull it down and run. He picks up the first down. Fresh out of the timeout here, you got Utah back to pass once again. Colorado only sends 4, and that one is picked off. He tried to sneak that one over the linebacker's head, and he couldn't get it done. Colorado ends this game, and they had to fight hard for it, but they win by 3, and they're going to be the Rocky Mountain Conference champions here in year #1. Next up, we got the Texas 12 Championship. We got the Sooners taking on the Aggies. Let's see if we get a good game. Oklahoma just caught a pick on Texas A&M to set them up in some amazing field position here. And Jackson Arnold in this offense is trying to punch it in. He hands it off to his running back, and he nearly picks up the first down on that rush. Oklahoma, as long as they don't turn the ball over here, should for sure be tying this ball game up. But I'm sure they have 6 on their mind. They hand that one off once again, and he's in the end zone untouched. Texas A&M down 4 here, under 3 minutes left in this 4th quarter. They're in plus territory at the 35-yard line. Weigman back to pass. He hits a man underneath. They're going to pick up the first down. They're set up pretty amazingly, time-wise, field position-wise. A nice little easy pitch and catch there for Weigman. First down for Texas A&M. Now, fresh out of the 2-minute warning, Texas A&M on a 3rd down here inside the 10-yard line, 3rd and 6. Weigman back to pass, man in the back of the end zone. It's 6. Texas A&M takes the lead. Oklahoma drives down 3 inside the red zone. 34 seconds left here. They still have 1 timeout. This could be the drive of his life for Jackson Arnold. 30 seconds left here in field goal range for Oklahoma. Will we have our 2nd overtime game here in the conference championship? Jackson Arnold hands that one off. He's going to pick up great yardage there, picking up 5. 3rd and 5. Do they play I was going to say conservative, but they pick up. They actually got out of bounds to stop the clock. Jackson Arnold back of the end zone. That one is intercepted, and there was no reason to force that pass. And Texas A&M is going to escape here with the W in the Texas 12 Conference Championship, 24-21. Next up, we got Clemson taking on Virginia Tech in the South Appalachia Conference Championship game. I feel like this is going to be one of the most even matchups we've seen so far. Like I said, one of the most even matchups we've seen today. 10-9 here in the fourth quarter. Clemson is knocking on the door, trying to score just outside of the red zone. They're in shotgun, utilizing a lot of this clock. They're probably going to snap it with about 2 seconds left. They do. Back to pass is Klubnik. He looks for his man deep on the right side, and he drops it. 2nd and 10 here, 5:11 left here for Clemson. Back to pass again. Quick pitch and catch to the outside, first down. A lot of game left here, so even if Virginia Tech does give up 6, it's not that big of a deal. But I'm sure they do want to get that half a stop, hold them to 3, or even force a turnover. Nice run here by the Clemson running back. Dabo and his team, and not looking the greatest. They hand the ball off once again. He trucks his way forward, and he's going to get in the end zone, falling on top of a Virginia Tech defender. Clemson going for 2 here, trying to go up a full 7 points. Can Virginia Tech get the stop? This would be a huge stop. This is a bigger stop than stopping them from 6. They hand it off once again. They play the pass, and they're up 17-10. All right, boys, 3rd and 9 here for Virginia Tech. 1:03 left. They do still have 2 timeouts. Of course, they got to go for it on 4th down if they don't pick this up. Down 17-10. They've pretty much been in control of this game the whole time. This is for the game. Can Virginia Tech complete a pass to keep this drive going? 50 seconds left in this one. Back to pass. He takes a shot deep. That's batted away smartly by the Clemson defender. That's going to be the ball game. So Clemson actually squeaks out the South Appalachia Conference Championship here in year number 1, but it was a hard-fought game. So we got Oregon taking on Fresno State in the Pacific Conference Championship, and to nobody's surprise, Oregon dominated the entire game, winning this one 21-3. Now for the Great Lakes Championship, we got Ohio State versus Indiana. This could very well possibly be the IRL Big Ten Championship played in the same stadium. Things got ugly in this one, man. Ohio State wins the game 31-17. And if I'm not mistaken, they played this weekend. So is this, foreshadowing to what we're going to see? And last but certainly not least, we got the Deep South Conference Championship game. We got the Miami Hurricanes taking on the Florida Gators. These are pre-patch rosters, so Cam Ward and them boys aren't as good as they are if you started up the game right now, but I think they can still come out here and get the dub. To my grand disappointment, Miami gets their boots smoked in this one. A lot of empty calories in them 21 points, and they lose this game 27-21. So season 1's Heisman winner is going to be Dylan Gabriel. He pretty much wins it every first season of every sim. Take a look at the rest of the award winners. Player of the year goes to Dylan Gabriel. Head coach of the year goes to Ohio State. Best quarterback, Dylan Gabriel. Best defensive player goes to Jordan Burch. Best DB goes to Jaleel Florence. Best running back goes to Amarion Hampton. Best receiver goes to Will Shepard. Barty goes to Jordan Burch. United's golden arm goes to Dylan Gabriel. Best DN goes to Jordan Burch. Best interior alignment goes to Tate Ratledge. Best tight end goes to Oscar Delp. Rose Award goes to Andy Pope. Best linebacker goes to Jeffrey Bassa. Best center goes to Parker Brailsford. Lou Gorza goes to Andres Borgales. Best punter goes to Josh Smith. Best returner goes to Bobby Golden. Now take a look at this college football playoff bracket. The byes are going to go to Oregon, Texas A&M, Ohio State, and Ole Miss. The rest of the 12 is going to be Georgia, Illinois, Miami, Oklahoma, Clemson, Alabama, Utah, NC State. We got some great matchups all around. After the first round, Georgia beats NC State by 3. Clemson goes down to Oklahoma. Utah beats Illinois, and Miami gets their cheeks clapped versus Alabama. Quarterfinals, we got Georgia versus Ole Miss, Oklahoma versus Oregon, Utah versus Ohio State, and we got Alabama taking on Texas A&M. In the quarterfinal matchups, Georgia beat Ole Miss, Oregon beat Oklahoma, Utah goes down by 3 to Ohio State, and Bama gets Texas A&M up out of there. So here we are, boys, the national semifinal in the Cotton Bowl in the house that Jerry built. We got Oregon, we got UGA. Who comes out on top? So Oregon actually dominates the entire game, beating UGA 28-6. UGA's offense has struggled IRL, and it looks like they struggled in this game as well, but the Heisman winning Dylan Gabriel leads his guys to victory. All right, boys, so a 1 ticket already punched in the Natty. Here we are in the Orange Bowl, Hard Rock Stadium. We got the 3-loss Crimson Tide taking on the undefeated Ohio State. Can Alabama complete and finish the magical run getting to the Natty? So Ohio State was down big in this one. They came back down 3, 1:48 left, 3 timeouts, and they got a chance to either tie or win this game. And they're going to take a shot on the very first play, and that one is overshot. What is the call on the play? I know they didn't just call defensive DPI on that play. They did. Ohio State gets bailed out royally. There's a 3rd and 10 for Ohio State. Will Howard is actually going to go to play action, and he gets sacked. 3 timeouts. What does Ohio State do? They're going to go for it. They went for it on a 4th and 10 earlier in this game. picked up 28 points. It's actually how they ended up getting 28, but they're going to need a miracle here on 4th and 16 because they know they want to get the ball back from Bama, and he goes with a check down. That's a terrible play. You push the ball downfield all game, and you do that. Ohio State's defense comes through, but no timeouts, 41 seconds left for this Ohio State offense. Will Howard has not been looking good here. They only rush 4. He has all day to throw. Steps up in the pocket. He's going to take off. No, he doesn't. He gets sacked. Will Howard back to pass. They bring extra guys with the blitz. And they get the sack. I couldn't even speak. It would take a miracle for them to win this game. I mean, let's see what Will Howard has in the tank. He's going to have to just force it downfield. He does. That's batted away. Bama's going to win this game. All right, boys, so this is what the 12-team college football playoff is all about. We got the 10th-seeded Alabama Crimson Tide taking on the top-seeded Oregon Ducks, the very first 12-team college football playoff championship in history. Let's go. All right, guys, first and goal here. Oregon down 10 in the 4th quarter. Dillon Gabriel has 4 chances to punch this one in. He hands it off. He falls forward, picking up a good chunk. Second and goal here from the 4 for the Oregon Ducks. Another handoff. They're going to play it nice and safe, and that stuff met at the line of scrimmage. Third and goal here. I know taking 3 is cool. You know what I mean? It still just makes it a 1-score game, but I would try to force it into the end zone somewhere. He does just that, but it's dropped in the end zone. Oregon put another good drive together here, down 7. Inside the red zone, inside the 10 once again. Can they actually get 6 here? They hand it off once again, and he's going to just pick up a couple. Oregon has to get more than 3 points here, but their play calling is a little bit suspect, a little bit too safe for my liking. Another handoff here. He's going to try to dive in the end zone. He gets it. Oregon is an extra point away from tying this one up. Now, Jalen Milroe putting his own drive together here. Across the 50 is this Alabama offense. 2:30 left in this ball game. We got a man in motion. It is going to be a jet pass. He tries to cut it up. Oregon's defense is all over it. They get a TFL. We've seen Jalen Milroe be a magician in these big moments late in ball games. He's got a man in motion. He's actually going to throw the swing pass. He's got to make a man miss. Haynes does. He breaks another tackle, and he picks up 4. Jalen Milroe with 252 passing yards in this game. 2 touchdowns and 1 pick. Tie ball game, 3rd and 7. They bring a lot of pressure, but he's got his man, 3rd and 7. This is a big-time play here for both teams. Holding Alabama to 3 would be crucial, and they play it super-duper conservative, but they get the first down out of it. He breaks the tackle, and 2 more. Alabama takes the lead here in the Natty. What a run. Now it's time for the Heisman Trophy winner and every other quarterback, award that he could have got this season to come through, get his own drive. He had a big drive versus Ohio State to win the game, and there they only pick up 1, but they want to save those. That way they can work the middle of the field. They do. They're going underneath. Broken tackle inside the 25-yard line is Oregon. They use their first timeout. Empty backfield set once again. They're letting you know we're throwing the ball. We're not even trying to, trick you that we're throwing. They only bring 4. That's a mistake. Oh, my goodness. He overshoots his receiver. A Heisman Trophy winner had a game-tying touchdown pass, but he overshot his man. 3rd and 10. No big deal. Back to pass again. Bama keeps only bringing 4, and he's going to hit his man out of the wheel route out of the backfield, and he's down inside the 10-yard line. They did get stuffed and had to settle for 3 earlier. What would happen with Dillon Gabriel here? He's got pressure in his face. He's going to throw that one out of the back of the end zone. 2nd and goal here, man. It is a loud, packed house in this game. They hand this one off, and he's going to pick up a few. Jordan James has 73 yards on the day, but you want your Heisman to make the plays. Do not hand the ball off again. Throw the ball with Dillon Gabriel. He's back to pass. He could run it. He has all day to throw. All day. Nobody's getting to him. And out of the back of the end zone, you got to use your legs. This is the game right here. 14 seconds, 4th and goal from the 3-yard line. You cannot pick up a first down. Empty backfield set. Can Dillon Gabriel make a tough pass? He has a man. He's surveying. He tries to run. Bama gets the sack. And Bama is going to be the champions here in year number 1. All right, boys. So what an instant classic for the first Natty. But Alabama reigns supreme post Nick Saban in the very first year. Jalen Milroe in that offense was able to get it done. Dillon Gabriel, a little bit too conservative with his legs there. So he had all day to throw the ball. You got to pull it down and run. But what a first season here. And a lot of the familiar faces and big players and perennial powers get it done here in season number 1. But at the end of season number 2, this is going to be your final CFP bracket. We got Kansas State being the number 1 overall team, followed by Oklahoma, UGA, and Clemson. Then we got the 5th-seeded Texas A&M Aggies taking on the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. We got 6th-seeded West Virginia taking on number 11 Penn State. We got 7th-seeded Wisconsin taking on number 10 Alabama. And we got 8th-seeded Notre Dame taking on 9th-seeded South Carolina. This year's Heisman goes to Tommy Newman of UGA. Award Winners Player of the Year goes to Cade Klubnik. Head Coach of the Year goes to Tom Downing of K-State. Best Quarterback, Cade Klubnik. Best defensive player, Jordan Allen of K-State. Best defensive back, Caleb Weaver of K-State. Best running back, Trevor Etienne of UGA. Best receiver goes to Antonio Williams of Clemson. The Lombardi Award goes to Jordan Allen of Kansas State. The United's Golden Arm goes to Cade Klubnik. The best defensive end goes to Jordan Allen of K-State. Best interior lineman is going to be Wendell Moe of Arizona. Best tight end, Oscar Delp from UGA. Brewers Award winner is going to be the defensive coordinator from K-State. Best linebacker is Desmond Purnell from K-State. Best center is Drake Slaughter from Florida. Lou Garza goes to RJ Cocan from West Virginia. Best punter goes to Carson Homer from Ball State. And the best returner goes to Ohio State's Jeremiah Smith. All right, boys, so the first game of the college football playoffs here in season number 2, we got West Virginia at home taking on Penn State. This might be a competitive game, but I think Penn State's going to pull it out. Picking up in the fourth quarter here, just shy of the red zone, we got Penn State driving versus West Virginia. Down 3, they are in field goal range, so they just want to make sure they don't turn the ball over here. Drew Aller back to pass. He hits a man short over the middle. All right, got a full house pistol set back there for Penn State. They hand it off to the running back. He's met at the line of scrimmage, but somehow he's still able to get 3 yards. That's going to bring up a 3rd and 1 here. This is a big time down. They go to play action. Aller's back to pass. He's sacked. That brings out Penn State's kicker here. Let's see if he can knock these through the uprights. The stadium post here in West Virginia is insane, but it is similar to is kind of a chip shot. He knocks it through the uprights. West Virginia ends up running away with this one late. 35-21 is going to be your final score. West Virginia put up 14 in the second, 14 in the fourth, and they're moving on to the next round of the CFP. In our second college football playoff matchup, you see touchdown Jesus up there. You see play like a champion today. You already know where we are. We got the Notre Dame Fighting Irish taking on the South Carolina Gamecocks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, South Carolina has fought their way back into this game. 3rd and 9, 1 timeout left, 53 seconds left, trying to get the ball back here from Notre Dame. Down 3, Notre Dame plays it safe, they run the ball. That is not going to be anywhere close as South Carolina calls a timeout. All right, boys, so touchback off of the punt of Notre Dame. Sellers back in shotgun, no timeouts, under 40 seconds. What could he do? He goes underneath. I'm not sure that's the call. Can their comeback effort be met as he hits a man down the seams? This crowd is insane. The 5th toughest place to play in America right now. Sellers throwing that one away, 4th and 10. All right, boys, this is for all the marbles here. 13 seconds left here. They got to take a shot. He goes underneath. Can he pick up the first down? He does. They're going to have to hustle to the line. As soon as they get there, it's going to start going 6, 5, 4, 3, just 3 seconds left. They got to take a shot towards the end zone. All right, here we go. 2nd and 10. Can Notre Dame get pressure with just the 3 they're sitting? They can't. Sellers rolls out. He's taking his shot deep. It is in the end zone, and it is batted away. Notre Dame survives here at home, 24-21, and they move on to the quarterfinal of the CFP. Next up in the playoffs, we got Georgia Tech on the road taking on Texas A&M. There's a big discrepancy when it comes to talent, but will Georgia Tech get the upset? So far, we got a slugfest in this one, boys. Texas A&M and Georgia Tech are playing an amazing game. Texas A&M is going to go ahead and hand it off to the running back. He breaks the tackle. He's in the end zone, and just like that, Texas A&M is back on the board. So after a big-time penalty, Georgia Tech is in striking distance. They are inside the 35-yard line. Let's see what this offense can do. They're 11-1 on the season, so they're no slouch, but they take a bad sack there. All right, Haynes King in shotgun, running back to his left-hand side. They go with an RPO. It looks like it's open, but Texas A&M is all over it. One would think that they are just going to try to get in the field goal range at bare minimum. Texas A&M rushes forward, but they still get pressure, and that is definitely going to knock them out of field goal range. Texas A&M runs away with this one late, putting up 21 in the fourth while blanking Georgia Tech. They win this one 42-24, and they move on to the quarterfinal. Last up in the opening playoff round, we have the defending champion Alabama Crimson Tide on the road taking on the Wisconsin Badgers. And if I'm not mistaken, Bama right now is a 10 seed. I'm pretty sure they won it as a 10 seed last year as well. As expected, Alabama pretty much dominated this game. 49-31 is your final score. I'm honestly surprised Wisconsin scored that much. Now here in the quarterfinal, Texas A&M taking on Clemson, Notre Dame taking on Kansas State, West Virginia taking on UGA, Alabama taking on Oklahoma. So here in the Sugar Bowl, in the quarterfinal of the college football playoff, we got the top-seeded Kansas State Wildcats taking on the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. So despite the score being close, Kansas State really never had a shot at winning this game. They were playing catch up the whole entire time, and Notre Dame dominates them, and they move on to the semifinal. We are at Hard Rock Stadium for the Orange Bowl. We got UGA, we got West Virginia. Who's going to come out on top? Things got ugly here in Miami. UGA wins this one 56-17. UGA is undefeated. They are battle-tested, and they are a team on a mission with the Heisman-winning quarterback. Here we are at the Cotton Bowl. We got Alabama taking on Oklahoma in the house that Jerry built. We should be in for a good one. All right, boys, and Alabama, who was in charge of this game the whole entire time, they squeak away with a 7-point victory. Oklahoma put up a great fight late, but it just wasn't enough. We are out here at the Rose Bowl. We got Clemson taking on Texas A&M, two teams that couldn't be further from California, but hopefully they can put on a show. Texas A&M takes care of business. They win this one by double digits, 31-20. They were in charge of this game the whole entire time as well, and now our semifinal matchups are all set up. So we got Texas A&M taking on Notre Dame, and we got Georgia taking on Bama. I was kind of hoping that Georgia and Bama could have possibly been a natty, but one of these two teams have to lose, and they're probably going to blow out whoever they play in the next round. First up, here in the Fiesta Bowl, we got Texas A&M taking on Notre Dame. So Notre Dame is inside the red zone, putting the drive together. They do still have all 3 timeouts, but they are down 10 points. They got to score, and they got to score fast. They're using a lot of clock here. Back to pass, surveying, pressure getting to his face, and that's a terrible sack you just can't have. Notre Dame was better off taking the 3 here, man, and then, going to try to play defense with their 3 timeouts. The quarterback's taking off. He's finally going to decide to pull it down and just run, and they're going to have to use their first timeout. Things are not looking good here for the Fighting Irish. Down to 2 timeouts, 3rd and 7. They got to try to take a shot to the end zone, and they take another bad sack. All right, 4th and 14 here. This one is for the ball game. Notre Dame back to pass. He takes a shot. He's in the end zone. Notre Dame finally scores. So Texas A&M continues to play well. They squeak away with this one. Notre Dame just didn't have enough in the tank. All right, boys, here we are at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. This is going to be a home game for UGA, essentially taking on Bama. But I've been to games where Alabama play here, and those Alabama fans travel to Atlanta all the time. This is going to be a crazy atmosphere.
You sure about that?
UGA just absolutely poured it on the defending champs, 38-3. Jalen Milroe came back to college just to put up only 3 points versus UGA in the national semifinal. Gunnar Stockton played absolutely out of his mind. UGA's Heisman-winning quarterback, Tommy Newman, went down in that ball game, and Gunnar Stockton still came in and threw for 4 touchdowns, no picks on 70% completion percentage. Heisman winner Tommy Newman will not be in the national championship game. He did break his foot in that semifinal. The best tight end in the nation, Oscar Delp, has been injured with a broken collarbone as well. All right, boys, you know why we're here. Hard Rock Stadium, the national championship trophy looks amazing. Can Texas A&M upset UGA, or will UGA be the first ever 16-0 football team in college football history? To nobody's surprise, UGA wins this natty in dominating fashion, and they do complete the mission 16-0. They bump off Texas A&M, but I already said whoever would have played Texas A&M out of UGA and Bama, that they were probably going to easily win this game. And so far in 2 seasons, we've had 2 different national championship winners, and we've also had different teams make deep runs in the playoffs with different amounts of losses. At the end of season 3, here are your conference championship winners. In the South Appalachia Conference, South Carolina took on Coastal Carolina. South Carolina won that game 26-14. In the Pacific Conference, USC was able to bump off Cal 24-17. In the Yankee Conference, Penn State bested Boston College 34-28. In the Great Midwest Conference, Kansas State has another great season in back-to-back years. They bump off Wisconsin 28-20. In the Gulf Coast Conference, Tulane actually upset Alabama 21-17. In the Rocky Mountain Conference, Boise State bests UNLV 23-10. In the Great Plains Conference, Kansas State bumps off Wisconsin. In the Great Midwest Conference, Tennessee barely beats Notre Dame 28-26. In the Deep South Conference, Florida bumps off USF. And in the Great Lakes Conference, Ohio State beats Indiana 31-14. Season 3's Heisman is going to be Aiden Childs of USC. Season 3 award winners, Aiden Childs gets Player of the Year. Head Coach of the Year goes to Earl Wilberry of Florida. Best quarterback goes to Aiden Childs. Best defensive player goes to Toby Osusami from Kansas State. Best DB goes to Isaiah Ferris from Boston College. Best running back goes to Ruben Owens of Texas A&M. Best receiver, Tyler Brown of Clemson. Lombardi Award goes to Toby Osasami from Kansas State. The United's Golden Arm Award goes to Aiden Childs. The best DN goes to Toby Osasami. Best interior lineman goes to Brady Small of Army. Best tight end goes to Tony Livingston of Florida. Best coordinator goes to Todd Malone of Florida. The best linebacker goes to Miles Graham of Florida. Best center goes to Brady Small of Army again. Lou Groza goes to Peyton Woodrick of Georgia. Best punter goes to Michigan State's Ryan Eckley. And the best returner goes to Tyler Brown of Clemson. Taking a look at this season's college football playoff, Florida's the 1 seed. Kansas State is number 2. Number 3 is A&M. Number 4 is Tennessee. And at the 5-12, we got Wisconsin taking on Ohio State. At the 8-9, we got Bama taking on Texas. At the 6-11, we got Nebraska taking on Georgia. And at the 7-10, we got Oregon taking on South Carolina. And what's crazy is Tulane beat Alabama in their conference championship. But how the conferences ended up aligning, they're in a group of 5 conference. So Ohio State gets that 9 at number 12. And Bama still makes it in as an at-large bid, number 9 in the nation at 11-2. So in that first round, Wisconsin actually beats Ohio State. Bama beats the brakes off of Texas. Georgia narrowly escapes Nebraska. And Oregon loses to South Carolina by 2. So for the quarterfinal games, we got Wisconsin taking on Tennessee, Bama taking on Florida, Georgia taking on Texas A&M, and South Carolina taking on Kansas State. It's time for the Orange Bowl. We got Alabama taking on Florida. This is going to be a great game, semi-home game for the Florida Gators. They are the number 1 overall seed. And if I'm not mistaken, man, I don't think the number 1 seed has won the championship yet. I can't remember if Georgia was the number 1 seed or not, but let's see what Florida can do. Future USR here. Georgia was not the number 1 seed. It was Kansas State. UGA was number 3. So this game has been pretty low scoring, and now Alabama is knocking on the door here in the fourth quarter. 10-10 ball game. Can they punch it in the end zone, or will they settle for 3? Quarterback keeps it there on the read option. He picks up nothing. All right, boys. Simpson back to pass. Play action. He's got pressure on his face. He goes underneath. He picks up 5 yards. So 3rd and 5 here for Alabama. They're guaranteed points as long as they don't turn the ball over here. Quick pass down the middle. It is dropped in the end zone. All right, so Florida ended up getting the field goal. Bama went back down to score. Now Florida is down 7. They're back to pass. That's going to be, oh my goodness. They are so lucky that wasn't picked off. Florida got a little lucky there as they lived to fight another day with that pass just being batted down. Shotgun pass, back. He's got a man in the end zone, and that's a touchdown for the Gators. All right, boys, here we are in OT. Alabama gets the rock first here. 12-2 versus 13-0. Number 1 versus number 9. Simpson sends his man in motion. He's back to pass. He's taking a shot first play, and he overshoots his receiver who was open in the back of the end zone. So Bama being ultra aggressive here in this overtime, and I can't say that I'm mad about it. Simpson goes with a little bubble screen, a little bit more conventional this time, and that receiver is going to be down inside the 10. He is throwing the ball extremely well. This time they're going to keep it on the ground, and he's going to get into the end zone untouched. Emma looks like they're bringing some pressure against Florida, but he is getting the ball out hot. They only bring 4. He's getting their gut pressure, and he gets sacked. Florida takes a bad sack there, but luckily they only lose 3 yards. They can still get a first down here on this drive. Back to pass once again. Only 4 coming again. They're getting pressure. He goes with a check down. Can he make somebody miss? He gets a big chunk of yards, 10-yard pickup. That's going to bring up a 3rd and 3. Naturally, Florida's going to go for it on 4th down if they don't score or pick up the first down here. And they're going to go to the air. Once again, they got his man right out of the backfield, and that's going to be a touchdown for the Gators. The Gators are right back on the ball after scoring there on that last drive. You know how overtime in college works at this point. And let's see if they can punch it into the end zone again. They're going to keep that on the ground, but this time it's stuffed. 2nd and 9 for the Gators here. They're in shotgun once again. I would assume they'll go to the air after that failed run. Bama only bringing 4. He's taking a shot to the back of the end zone, and he overshoots his receiver. 3rd and 9 here for the Gators. Missed pass there by their QB. Him and his wide receiver just couldn't hook up. They're going to actually bring an extra man this time, and they get the sack. It's the fumble, and Bama's going to scoop and score, and that is going to be the ball game. Bama is headed to the semifinal. Number 1, Florida goes down. The upset is crazy here in the Orange Bowl. All right, boys, so here we are, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, another pseudo home game. First it was the Florida Gators at the Orange Bowl. Now it's UGA here in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. But things didn't go so well for Florida in that one. Hopefully, Georgia could utilize the home field advantage to their advantage. If you remember last year, guys, UGA beat the brakes off of everybody they faced, but this year, they're in a dogfight here in this quarterfinal game versus Texas A&M. Texas A&M man in motion. They're going to fake the jet pass, and the quarterback keeps it, and he gets a good chunk of yards, putting them inside the 5. A lot of game left here, so Texas A&M doesn't really have to force anything. They could settle for 3 if they have to, but I'm sure they're trying to punch it into the end zone. They're going to hand that one off. He's got some wiggles, and he nearly puts it in the end zone. Down at the 1, they're going to come out in a heavy set I form. They're going to see what the big boys up front could do. I would try to throw it to the receiver on the outside. They actually get there, and he nearly gets into the end zone. Fresh out of the injury timeout for Georgia. I would keep it on the ground again. You know what I mean? Don't do what Pete Carroll did. And they're going to get into the end zone this time, and they take the lead. All right, boys, we low-key have a shootout on our hands, but this time Texas A&M's drive is stopped short on 4th and 1. They're going to bring their kick team out. The kick is up, and the kick is good. Texas A&M takes the lead. How will UGA respond? All right, boys, UGA across the 50. They are in plus territory. They have 1 timeout left with 49 seconds. Tommy Newman in shotgun. He's going to take a quick shot, and that one's batted down. UGA, being the defending champs, barely made the playoffs this year as the 11th seed. Back to pass, and that one's going to be underneath, and they're getting the call over from the sideline. They got to hurry, though. They only got 1 timeout. The clock is not their friend. They go quickly over the middle, and it's dropped. Texas A&M is going to try to ice the kicker, but he had his running back on the little swing route, and he missed him, and UGA is going to knock this kick in from deep. All right, boys, another quarterfinal game, another OT, and this time Texas A&M strikes first. UGA is trying to answer back and get 6 of their own, and on the very first play, they're in the end zone just like that. UGA back on the offensive side of things after scoring in 1 play. Do they have a one-play touchdown in them once again? They are jamming on the outside. That's what got them hammered the last time. Tommy Newman fakes the handoff. He's surveying. He takes another shot deep, and they do score in another quick 1-play touchdown. Now, how does Texas A&M respond? They scored rather quickly on their drive as well. They took a sack and scored on the very next play. So both quarterbacks are likely to take shots. Nice dump down there to get out of the sack, and that's going to pick up 7. Little timeout here. They hand it off to number 2, who's been eating all day. He picks up the first down and more inside the 10. All right, boys, we got a 1st and 10 here for UGA. Weigman back to pass. He goes underneath, and that one is held on. Tough catch. Weigman has 4 touchdown passes today, no interceptions, 250 yards. So he has been throwing the ball extremely well. Back to pass again. He's got his running back. He tries to throw out of the sack, and he can't, and he goes down. Weigman is hurt. So the backup for Texas A&M has to come in the biggest game of his life, college football playoff quarterfinals, and he has to try to make something shake. He almost takes a sack, and he nearly throws a pick in the back of the end zone. Is this how they're going to go down? They lose their best player and Connor Weigman. They got to bring in the backup. He's surveying. He's floating out the pocket. He's got to throw it. He can't take a sack, and he does. And Texas A&M goes down because the backup didn't have enough brains to just give his wide receivers a shot, and they lose a shocker. UGA survives. They're on to the semis. Now, this one is going to be an intriguing matchup here in the Fiesta Bowl. We got Kansas State taking on South Carolina. I'm not even sure who's going to come on top of this game. All right, guys, so the score isn't as close as it suggests. Kansas State pretty much was in control of that game the whole entire way. That's why we didn't jump in. Now, I want to say that this is going to be the least sexiest matchup of them all. Tennessee taking on Wisconsin, but Wisconsin did bump up Ohio State, so they are coming for blood. As expected, man, Tennessee handled the situation, winning by 10. Wisconsin scored a garbage time touchdown. Tennessee was never in danger of losing this one, and they move on to the Final Four. First things first, we got an old school Blue Bloods matchup here in the Rose Bowl. We got Bama taking on Tennessee. Who's going to come out on top and make it to the Natty? All right, boys, we got Tennessee on the drive of their lives, trying to punch their ticket to the national championship. Under a minute, 2 timeouts. Nico takes a shot. The tight end comes down with it. That's going to be a first down. Remember, Alabama has been in every national championship so far. They won the first one, lost the second one. Do they have a chance to go once again? Nico, back at quarterback, man, is slinging the thing here, trying to propel his Volunteers. He's taking a shot to the end zone, and he overshoots his guy. In shotgun once again. Bama only brings 4. He's taking another shot deep. That one's batted down, 4th and 3. This is for the game right here. 36 seconds left, 4th and 3. 1 timeout for Tennessee. Down 8. Nico back to pass. Bama only bringing 4. He's going to the sideline, and that one's jarred loose, and Bama's going to move on to the Natty. Now, here in the Sugar Bowl, we got UGA taking on K-State. Kansas State has been a major player in this sim so far, but can they get over the hump and make it to the Natty? So UGA is just too much for them in the end. You know what I'm saying? They beat them 23-0. We got Bama, UGA in the Natty. So this is what the 12-team playoff is all about. We got number 11 taking on number 9 for the national championship. We got UGA. We got Bama. Let's get into it. Alabama beats the brakes off of UGA in this one. They dominated on all sides of the ball, and they're going to hoist the trophy for the second time in 3 seasons. 41-20 is your final score, and we have season 3's national champion. All right, boys, so in season number 4, we have our first interaction with foolishness with the conference change. Kennesaw State is number 10 in the nation at 10-2, and they will be playing for the Deep South Championship. For the Yankee Conference Championship, we got Rutgers taking on Pitt. For the South Appalachian Championship, we got Clemson taking on North Carolina. For the Gulf Coast Conference, we don't have Bama, we don't have LSU. We have South Alabama taking on Mississippi State. In the Texas 12 Conference, we got UTSA taking on TCU. In the Rocky Mountain Conference, we got Utah taking on Colorado. In the Great Midwest Conference, we got Cincinnati taking on Purdue. In the Great Plains Conference, we got Kansas State taking on Minnesota. And then in the Great Midwest, we got Tennessee taking on Notre Dame. In our first conference championship game, we got Rutgers taking on Pitt. This should be a good one. Yankee Conference, big jersey, let's go Rutgers. So Rutgers lets the entire Garden State down. They don't even score a touchdown, losing to Pitt 41-6. God dang. All right, next up, we got Kansas State taking on Minnesota. I'm not sure what to make out of this game, but Kansas State has been in the mix every single year. All right, boys, this game was nothing to write home about. Kansas State, the number 1 team in the nation, wins this one 7-0. I've been to one of these college football playoff games. Imagine spending $400 on a seat just to see a game go 7-0. I'd be pissed. Now, the most surprising conference championship game of them all, we got South Alabama taking on Mississippi State. This is a conference that has both Bama and LSU, and both of these 2 teams rose to the top. Now, Mississippi State is down in this one. They've actually been losing this entire game, but they got it. They forced a punt. They're driving down 5:25 left in this ball game. They're finally going to snap it in the shotgun. They're going to hand it off to the running back, and he's going to nearly pick up the first down. So let's see if they can do that here. Shotgun once again for Mississippi State. It's another handoff to 34. It looks like there's a flag on the play, and that's probably going to be coming backwards. It is. Mississippi State wants to get more than 3 here, man. Down 5. That field goal doesn't really put a dent. It puts a dent, but it doesn't really do anything for them. This time they're going to play action. South Alabama gets pressure. He eludes the sack. He has room in front. A lot of green. He tries to slide. He's brought down, but they pick up the first. Mississippi State here is playing with a purpose. They're playing extremely fast. Back to pass once again, surveying the field. They only brush 4. He breaks another sack, but this time they bring him down. Looks like there was a face mask, but there's no call. 2nd and 14 here for Mississippi State, boys. Boom, this time they're going to hand off to 29. He has a lot of green up in front. The run plays has been their biggest chunk plays. That makes the 3rd down a lot more manageable. Empty backfield set here, changing some things up at the line. The way they're playing, I feel like they're going to go for it on 4th down no matter what. He gets the snap. They only rush 4. He throws it in the back of the end zone, wide open. Mississippi State is on the board. South Alabama has one more chance to try to put some points on the board here. Whether it's tying it up with a field goal or going ahead with a touchdown, they are on their drive. They go with a little dump off. They pick up about 3. Unranked, Mississippi State 8-4 unranked. Surveying, they only rush 4. He has time to throw. He has a man wide open on the sidelines. 103 left here. The clock did stop with that completion. He goes with a short underneath route. That was dropped, nearly picked off. He's back to pass. They only rush 4. Pressure does get to him, but he overshoots his target. And if I sound a little bit nasally, fellas, I got a bad cold, but we got to get this video done. Empty backfield set, back to pass. Pressure gets to him. He's going to take off running. He has green. He slides. He gets the first down and more. 50 seconds under a minute. Back to pass. They only rush 4. They need to start bringing more. He's going to take a shot, and that one is batted away. What a play by the DB. 45 seconds left here. 2nd and 10. Quarterback changes some things up at the line. Little hot route here and there. They only rush 3 this time. He takes a shot back in the end zone, and that one's almost intercepted. Not really sure why the quarterback chose to take a shot there. 3rd and 10. You want to make the 3rd and 4th downs manageable. They rush 4 this time. He's got a man. He tries to back shoulder and hits off of the defender. This is for the tie. The kick is up, and the kick is good. All right, boys. Here we are in OT. Mississippi State gets the ball first. We've had a lot of great games here in this sim so far. It's been an amazing 4th season so far. They fake the jet pass. They fake the handoff. They're going to go to the running back on a little check down. 3rd and long here for Mississippi State. Not really sure why they called the plays the way they did. Play calling was very, very safe. Back to pass. Pressure gets to him. He takes a sack. And he comes through clutch for his team. That kick is up, and that kick is through the uprights. Here we go. All right, boys. So down 3. It is South Alabama's turn here. Can they punch it into the end zone and get the victory? Back to pass, they bring a blitz. He hits his receiver, a little bit of a bad throw, but he made a tough catch. All right, boys, 2nd and 1 here for South Alabama. They are playing extremely well, and they are controlling their own destiny. I think they punch it in. They hand it off, and he's not going to get the first. I'm not sure about that spot. 3rd and inches here for South Alabama. Do they go to the air? Do they keep it on the ground? They have a lot of options here, and of course, it's 4-down territory. The run is there. He has a lot of room. He's down inside the 10-yard line. They are in shotgun. They're going to pass. Mississippi State brings 4. He goes underneath, and that's a touchdown. South Alabama is going to win this ball game. Mississippi State wet the bed in this one, and South Alabama might have punched their ticket to the college football playoff. Next up for the Texas 12, we got UTSA taking on TCU, and I think this one could be an instant classic as well. So far, we got a good one here. 5 minutes left in this ball game. TCU driving inside the red zone. They're down 7, 24 versus 21. This game is directly for a shot at the CFB. And this is what moving the conferences around were all about for me, man. Seeing some teams that you wouldn't necessarily see in the CFP contention, like a UTSA. But right there, TCU gets a great run. They're down at the 1. They got 4 chances to punch it in. They're going to the air, and that's going to be 6. UTSA forced a turnover here, so they're starting off this drive in plus territory. 2:48 left in this ball game. 2nd and 9, man in motion. They faked the handoff. Quarterback keeps it. He gets stuffed at the line of scrimmage. One would think that UTSA is in field goal range, but naturally, they're going to want to get a touchdown. They're changing some things up here at the line. Quarterback's back to pass. They bring a blitz. He delivers a dot. 1st down, UTSA. So UTSA's quarterback right now is DJ Lagway. He has 3 passing touchdowns. So that makes sense why they're playing so well. They have an elite quarterback. Spin there by the running back. He nearly picks up a first. And while I say as an elite quarterback, Lagway is a senior now in this universe. So he is at his full max potential, and he is showing exactly how good he is, bringing UTSA this far. He hands it off to his running back. He's down inside the 2. 1st and goal here. 2:05 left in this ball game. They should just take this down to the 2-minute warning. They don't. Lagway's going to pass. He throws it in traffic, but it's a dot. So TCU with their chance to respond here. 1:31 left in this ball game. 4th and 4, though. This is for the game. They have to pick up this 1st down, and that's batted down by the linebacker. So after UTSA got the stop, they kicked the field goal to go up 10. TCU was unable to move the ball, and the UTSA Roadrunners with DJ Lagway underneath center are headed for the college football playoffs. So it's been a minute since Colorado in this sim has been a player, but right now for the Rocky Mountain Championship, they will be taking on the Utes. All right, boys, so Colorado runs away with this one late. They win 26-20. There was no real reason to jump into it. Utah wasn't moving the ball well, and Colorado are this year's Rocky Mountain Conference champions. So we got Tennessee taking on Notre Dame, 2 teams who have been good throughout this whole entire sim. So I didn't have this on my Season 4 bingo card, but Notre Dame comes out here and completely takes Tennessee out back by the shed, and they are going to be conference champions. In the South Appalachian Conference, we got Clemson taking on UNC. This will be a hell of a game, man. So Clemson has been in the mix throughout this whole entire sim, but they haven't really been able to get over that hump. Let's see what happens in this one. So this game looked like it was headed for OT until UNC punted, and then Clemson's return man gave them a 20-yard return, and now Clemson is in striking distance to get a field goal. Fresh out of the ice attempt, does Clemson's kicker have what it takes? The snap, the hold, the kick, it's good. Clemson beats UNC. So, boys, in the Pacific Conference, we got Oregon taking on Washington. All right, guys, so Oregon gets the job done here, 20-17. Washington tried to score late, but they ran out of time. Then Oregon just ran out the clock, and they are going to be the champions this year. Now, if there's any game that didn't seem that exciting on paper, it's Purdue taking on Cincy. Yet, here we are. Purdue is number 12 in the nation. Let's see what type of show they can put on for us. So Purdue is up 26-21, but Cincy is driving in the red zone here at the 20-yard line. 1st and 10, 3:20 left in this ball game. Quarterback takes a deep shot, and it's wide open, completely dismantled off the line, and Cincy's going to take the lead here late. All right, boys, 3rd and 8 here. Purdue needs to stop to stay in this ball game. They're down to their 2 timeouts. They're going to go to the draw play. They do get the stop. Timeout number 2 is used. They're getting the rock back. All right, boys, so I was just trying to super sim to get in better field position, but Purdue actually scores on a 52-yard touchdown pass to Armand Branch. They are up 3. An extra point is going to put them up 4. And Cincy just has 8 seconds left. Let's see if they can pull off a miracle here with maybe a Hail Mary. Cincinnati was this close to pulling off the upset, boys. They could not get it done as of right now. Wow, I didn't expect a 52-yard touchdown. Cincinnati quarterback back to pass. He has time. He's going to check it down into no one with 3 timeouts as well. He's back to pass again. Does he even have the arm to get it anywhere close to the end zone? He throws it to a wide open man. Do they do a hook and ladder? They don't. And Purdue is going to survive. So the conference championship game I was most excited for. Kennesaw State taking on the Florida Gators. Can Kennesaw State get into the college football playoff in just year number 4 of their existence in the FBS level? It looks like the magical run ends here. Florida beats Kennesaw State 28-0. One could dream. As much as I hate the Gators, I would have loved to see them lose to the Kennesaw State Owls. Season 4's Heisman winner is going to be Lenoris Sellers, the senior quarterback of the South Carolina Gamecocks. 3,800 yards, 48 touchdowns, just 3 interceptions. Take a look at the rest of the award winners. Lenoris Sellers gets the player of the year. Head coach of the year goes to Clemson. Best quarterback, Lenoris Sellers. Best defensive player, Elijah Rushing of Oregon. Best DB goes to Georgia's Ellis Robinson IV. Best running back, Devin Rivers of Fresno State. Best receiver, Manny Talib of Oklahoma. Lombardi Award, Doug Redmond of Georgia. United's Golden Arm Award, Lenoris Sellers. Best DN, Elijah Rushing. Best interior lineman, Connor Jadowski of Georgia. Best tight end goes to Jada Riddell of Georgia. Best coordinator goes to Clemson's Tim McKinney. Best linebacker goes to Boone Morris. Best linebacker goes to Boone Morris of Kansas State. Best center goes to Connor Jadowski. Lou Groza goes to Grant Metters of Oregon. The best punter goes to Miguel Cortez of Buffalo. Shout out to Buffalo. And the best returner is going to be Iverson Hooks of UAB. And taking a look at this season's college football playoff, Kennesaw State is still getting an at-large bid as the number 12 team in the nation. 10-3 on the season. Since the Deep South Conference is in the ACC, they get the strip of conference with that one. They still did have a great season. The number 1 seed for the second time in this sim is Kansas State. Number 2, Clemson. Number 3, Florida. Number 4, Notre Dame. 5-12 seed is going to be UGA, Kennesaw State. That's going to be a blowout. We got Bum SU taking on Tennessee, 8-9. 6-11, we got Michigan and Purdue. 7-10, we got Minnesota and Oregon. We're going to just straight sim these first round games and go straight to the quarterfinals. So opening round games, Kennesaw State played a lot better versus UGA, putting up 21, but they got blown out. Bum SU goes down to Tennessee. Michigan beats the brace off of Purdue. And Oregon handles Minnesota. And I think I'm going to go ahead and sim through the quarterfinal this year around also and go straight to the Final Four. So in this year's Final Four, man, we had Georgia beat Notre Dame. Tennessee absolutely beat the dog shit out of Kansas State. Michigan beats Florida by 3, and Oregon couldn't put up points versus Clemson. Kansas State, man, they've been the number 1 seed a bunch of times, and they play well. But when it comes to these games, bro, they just cannot get it done. All right, boys, so in our first Final Four matchup here at Hard Rock Stadium, we got Clemson taking on Michigan. All right, boys, so the score is going to look close in this one, but it wasn't at all. It's one of those things. Michigan finally scored late. It was a lot of punts in the fourth quarter. But Clemson finally gets over the hump a little bit as they make it to the college football playoff final. Now, this might be one of those instances where people say this is a real national championship. We got UGA, we got Tennessee. This should be a good one. So this game has been extremely back and forth. Just shy of the red zone is Tennessee, down 4 here. Under 3 minutes left in the ball game. 3rd and 3. They're going to hand it off. They're going to pick up the first down and much more. Now inside the red zone is Tennessee. 1st and 10. They can pick up a first down here. They don't have to score, immediately. But I would try to work this clock a little bit if I was them. But this Georgia's defense has been pretty stingy. But this time they get burnt deep down the middle. That's going to be down at the 1 for Tennessee. Tennessee still staying in a shotgun pistol look. Do they keep it on the ground? Do they go to the air? They go to the air, and they have a man wide open. Nice pitch and catch. UGA puts a drive together of their own. They're right outside the red zone. Under 2 minutes left in this one, down 3. Tommy Newman, a former Heisman winner, hits his man over the middle, but he drops it. 3rd and inches here for UGA. Do they keep it in it? Do they keep it on the ground, or do they go through to the air? They go to the air. They only rush 4. He has a man wide open down the seams and down at the 2-yard line. Tommy Newman has 300 yards and 5 touchdowns with no picks in this ball game. He is slinging the thing and playing extremely well. 1st and goal, back to pass, surveying. He rolls out. He finds a man. No, he throws away in the back of the end zone. Here's a 2nd and goal look here for UGA. Newman changes some things up at the line. Brings a man in motion here. Is it a jet sweep? It is. Why would he cut it up so soon? It doesn't matter. He scores, but it looks like it's going to go back. The tight end held on that one. Tennessee gets a little lucky there. It's going to bring up a 2nd and goal from the 12. Just piss poor playing there. They hand the ball off to the running back again, and he breaks a bunch of tackles, and he's down at the 1. Third and goal here for UGA. They keep it on the ground. They don't. They go to the air once again. They just ran the ball so well. He's throwing that one out of the back of the end zone. So 4th and goal, man. They got to settle for 3. I'm not really sure why they played that so weirdly, but, you know, they're going to tie the ball game up here with that kick. So we find ourselves in OT here. Tennessee's going to start with the ball, and this is for a trip to the national championship. They're going to hand this one off. He has a lot of room up in front. He's just shy of the 20-yard line, picking up 3. So it looked like a lot of room, but that play was actually stopped pretty short, just a 3-yard pickup, but positive yards is better than no yards. They're going to go to a play action, a little RPO actually. It is a touchdown, so UGA has to answer back. What a game from the 5th and the 9th seeds here, boys. Tommy Newman, again, a former Heisman winner, back to pass. They could have won in the regulation, but they played it a little bit too safe. And he has a touchdown immediately first play. UGA right back on the ball here after that quick score. 45-45 here in the second OT. We got a man in motion. It's the tight end. He's going to go all the way out. It's going to be a nice screen. He gets the block up front. Number 18 makes a man miss, but he steps out of bounds. This game has been amazing so far. And he's got a man wide open down the middle. He breaks the tackle, but he gets stuffed by 3 after. 1st and goal for UGA. Do they play super conservative again like they did at the end of 4? Do they try to punch it in? The blitz comes, and they're in the end zone. And UGA's offense is back on the field. They're going to put another tight end in motion. He's going to go back. They're going to run the ball. No, it's a play action, and he's got a man in the back. And, oh, that's not good. Tennessee just got hold. That is not a catch, chat. Tennessee just got hold. The DB made a great play, drawing the ball loose. Didn't finish through contact for the catch, but they gave him the 2-point conversion. That's terrible. But Tennessee isn't going to let that bother them. They pick up the first down. I have nothing against UGA boys, but that was BS, man. You hate to see it. Tennessee taking a shot back in the end zone, and that's picked off, and that's going to be the ball game. All right, boys, Natty season number 4. We got Georgia taking on Clemson. What a matchup. UGA's in their 3rd Natty. They're 1-1 in Natties. Can they go above 500 with a win in this one? All right, boys, this is for the game. Clemson has to try to pick up this first down, up 7. UGA has 1 timeout left, a minute 5. And I just realized Clemson was playing to be the 2nd team to go 16-0, and they're not going to pick up the first down. So Clemson's not going to do neither. They're not going to punt or go for it. They're going to try to kick this long kick. It is up, and it is good. Clemson extends their lead late. All right, boys, so that's going to do it. Georgia loses the championship. Clemson goes 16-0. Georgia is the other team to go 16-0, and they finally got the job done. They've been so close. They've been in the playoffs. They won conference championships, and they finally came out here, got it done. Here in the 5th and final season, heading into conference championship week, this is what the CFP top 25 is looking like. We got TCU as the number 1 team in the nation, sitting at 12-0, followed by 11-1 UGA, but MSU, Miami, Colorado, Arizona State, Utah, Florida, Texas A&M, Michigan, Alabama, USC, Notre Dame, Oregon, Oklahoma, Kentucky, Maryland, Toledo, Penn State, Bowling Green, Mississippi State, Purdue, Clemson, Ohio, and Ohio State. And then taking a look at the conference championship games, we got Clemson, South Carolina, USC, Cal. We got Minnesota, Bowling Green. We got Pitt versus Maryland, Louisiana versus Alabama, Colorado versus Arizona State, Texas A&M versus TCU, Northwestern versus Notre Dame, UGA versus FSU, and then we got Toledo taking on Michigan. So for the 5th season, we're just going to look at the big conference championship games that have high-ranking teams. So we got Colorado taking on Arizona State, we got the UGA game, and we got the TCU versus Texas A&M game. So Colorado dominated this game the entire way. 23-6 is going to be your final score, and the number 5 team in the nation is going to be conference champions of the Rocky Mountain Conference. All right, boys, we got the number 1 team in the nation in TCU, the only undefeated team in the top 25, taking on number 9 Texas A&M. Number 1 TCU was almost guaranteed to make the CFB, but Texas A&M was going to have to win this game if they want a spot. Now coming out in the I form here, it looks like Texas A&M wants to run some of this clock as well as score. They hand that one off to number 24, and once again, TCU meets them at the line of scrimmage. Run game can't really get anything going for Texas A&M here, but here they are, 2:07 left in this ball game. Shot to the back of the end zone is picked. TCU, and they take it out of the end zone. Why? All right, boys, so TCU successfully runs out the clock, and their undefeated season continues, and they will head into the CFP as the number 1 overall seed. Now, in theory, this should be the most competitive conference championship game. We got the number 2 team in the nation, the UGA Bulldogs, taking on the number 3 team in the nation, the Bummus U Seminoles. All right, guys, so this one got ugly late. The UGA Bulldogs beat the brakes off of the FSU Seminoles 45-24. And UGA continues their dominance throughout this whole entire sim. So season 5's Heisman is going to be Devon Bliss of TCU, 3,700 yards. We're going to round up 43 touchdowns and just 2 interceptions. So crazy enough, even at 12-1, since UGA beat the number 3 team in the nation by 21, they jump over TCU as the number 1 seed in the college football playoff. TCU drops to 2, obviously. Colorado bumps up from 5 to 3. Miami stays put at 4. They didn't play in the conference championship game. They just watched Georgia and Florida State beat up on each other. Take a look at the other conference championship games that we did not jump in to watch. South Carolina beats Clemson. Cal beats USC. Minnesota loses to Bowling Green. Pitt beats the Terps. Bama shuts out Louisiana. Notre Dame beats the brakes off of Northwestern. What else did you expect? And Michigan barely holds on to beat Toledo. Award winners this year: Player of the Year, Devon Bliss. Head Coach of the Year goes to Brian Campbell of TCU. Best Quarterback, Devon Bliss. Best Defensive Player goes to Jewett Hayes of Virginia. Best DB goes to Josh Sizemore of Georgia. Best Running Back goes to Harvey DeBose of Georgia. Best Receiver goes to Gordon Sharp of USC. Lombardi Award goes to Jewett Hayes. United's Golden Arm goes to Dalvin Shearer of Michigan. Best DN goes to Jewett Hayes of Virginia. Best interior lineman is going to be Barry Sermon of Alabama. The best coordinator goes to TCU's Tavares Clay. Best linebacker goes to Tim Soto of Tulane. Best center goes to Barry Griggs of FAU. Lou Groza goes to George Espinoza of Bowling Green. The best punter goes to Jeremiah Lord of UCF. And the best returner is going to be Marco Nortman out of Duke. And after all the dust settles, this is what we see of the college football playoff bracket. UGA is number 1, TCU is number 2, Colorado is number 3, Michigan is number 4. Those are your buys. Top 12 game, we got Miami taking on Notre Dame. We got the Catholics versus Convicts. Florida is going to be taking on Arizona State. Alabama is going to be taking on Florida State. And Texas A&M is going to be taking on Utah. All right, so the first game of the first round of the college football playoffs here in year number 5. We got the bum SU Seminoles. Y'all know that's what I'm going to call them. Taking on the Alabama Crimson Tide. But I can't lie, it is smacked, it is packed, and it is lit in this stadium right now. All right, boys, so Alabama came in their trap and took over their trap. 24-13 is your final score. They were in control of the game the whole entire way, and they move on to the quarterfinal of the CFB. All right, boys, so we got another team that I hate severely. We got the Florida Gators taking on the Arizona State Sun Devils. I'm not really sure what to make out of this game, but let's see what happens and see if they can put on the show. All right, boys, so Arizona State scored late, but they ran out of time. And Florida is going to secure the victory here in the swamp, and they're moving on to the next round. All right, boys, so we got Utah taking on Texas A&M. Texas A&M has been a major player throughout this whole entire sim. Utah, not so much. So if they can get the win here, I feel like that'll be an upset, even though they are at home. All right, boys, we got 1:32 left in this ball game. 10-10, Texas A&M is inside the red zone. Both teams have all of their timeouts. Let's see how this one is going to end. Utah makes a tackle, and they call their timeout. Second and goal here on the 9-yard line. Texas A&M didn't gain any yards on that last rush. They're going to keep it on the ground again. Utah is all over again. He breaks the tackle, and he still stops short of the 5-yard line. They got to punch it in the end zone. No, they're going to play it safe. They run it in. He does get into the end zone. What a second effort from the running back. Utah was this close to holding them to 3. All right, boys, under a minute left here. One timeout. Utah with the ball at home. He's got some great time to throw. He has a man deep, and he overshoots him. Texas A&M moves forward in this college football playoff. Utah only scored in the fourth quarter. It was a low-scoring affair, but Texas A&M found a way to get it done. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you know the vibes. Hard Rock Stadium, Miami Hurricanes, number 4 in the nation, taking on the number 12 Fighting Irish. Let's get to it. All right, boys, so Miami was in control of this whole entire game. 34-20 is your final score. They're going to move on to the quarterfinal. Notre Dame put up a great fight, but we were too much in the end. But with the first round of the books, we got Miami taking on Michigan. We got UGA taking on Florida. We got Bama taking on Colorado. And we have a Texas 12 Conference Championship rematch of Texas A&M taking on TCU. All right, boys, here in the Orange Bowl, quarterfinal of the CFP, we got Florida taking on Georgia in Hard Rock Stadium. It is a pseudo home game for the Florida Gators, but you know those UGA fans like to travel. Let's see if they can put on the show. All right, guys, we got under 3 minutes left here, 2:33. Florida driving, 22-all ball game here in the fourth quarter. We got a man in motion, out of shotgun. They fake the screen. They go with the screen, and Georgia's all over it. All right, here's a 2nd and 14 here with the loss of the screen. Florida, another man in motion. It's play action. Georgia brings a bunch of pressure. They get a sack. This Georgia defense is turning up, man, but they are the number 1 team in the nation and they've had the best defense in the nation for quite some time. They bring a lot of pressure, and that's a dot. We got 2 minutes here. This play's gonna take us to the 2-minute warning. Number 34 with a big time carry picking up the first down. So naturally, the Gators bring out the kick team. This is pretty much a chip shot right down the middle. The hold is good, the kick is up, the kick is good. Florida takes a 3-point lead. So the clock is ticking here. 1 timeout for UGA, 2nd and 13. They still got a long way to go for a field goal. They're back to pass, they go underneath, and that is a dropped pass. He was absolutely lit up. Does UGA try to take a shot, or do they play it safe? They're back to pass. Florida brings pressure, and he overshoots his wide open receiver. That was 6. This is for the ball game right here. 4th and 13 for the UGA Bulldogs. They're in shotgun. Does Florida blitz, or do they just rush for? We got a man moving in motion. Looks like Florida is in zone. They do bring an extra guy. And once again, they got a man streaking on the sideline. And UGA uses their 3rd and final timeout with 25 seconds left here. They convert on 4th and long. Back to pass once again. They bring an extra man, and that one is going to be picked off. Down goes the top-seeded Bulldogs. The Gators get them up out of here, 25-3. All right, boys, here in the Cotton Bowl, we got Colorado taking on Alabama. Colorado scored 20 with like 4 seconds left, so they were out of this game for a long time, and Bama's going to move on to the semifinal. All right, boys, here we go. We got the Sugar Bowl. We got TCU, Texas A&M. This is going to be a good game. They had a great game in the conference championship, so let's see what's going to happen here. The 2nd-seeded Horned Frogs are down 8 right now with under 3 minutes left in this ball game. They got the Heisman-winning quarterback in shotgun. Let's see if he can propel his guys to a victory. He's going to take a shot, and it's dropped. 2nd and 10 here for the Horned Frogs. They do have a lot of time. They have all 3 timeouts, so they really don't have to rush anything. They're going to go ahead and hand that off, but it's stuffed. This is what the 12-team playoff is all about, man. You got a 4-loss team taking on an undefeated team, and right now the 4-loss team would be headed to the semifinal. They run with the screen, and it is stuffed. So instead of bringing out the kicking unit and playing D, TCU is going for it here on 4th and 10. I like the call, man. I like the aggressiveness, and they get the first down. All right, we got a 1st and 10. This is going to be the last play before the 2-minute warning. It's a play action. He's surveying. He's got a man. Does he get in the end zone? He does. Change some things up at the line. They're back to pass. They only bring 4. He's got a wide open man, and we got a tie ball game. Texas A&M is in plus territory here. One would say they're in field goal range. 1st and 10, 1:21 left. TCU is using their timeouts. Quarterback's back to pass. They got pressure. He loses a sack. He delivers a strike, but he steps out of bounds. The clock stops for TCU. They don't have to waste the time out here. 2nd and 3 for Texas A&M. They're going to go ahead and hand it off. TCU can't get there. That's going to be a first down for the Aggies. The Aggies play the clock, or do they try to score? Which one is it? Just outside the red zone, there's another handoff. There's another good chunk play. They pick up 5. 2nd and 5 here for the Aggies. Change some things up at the line. TCU has used their last timeout. They hand it off once again, but they're in the backfield to make the tackle 3rd and 8. Texas A&M isn't really running down the clock that aggressively, but there is under a minute left here. They hand it off once again, and that's going to be stuffed. Hold is down, kick is up, and the kick is good. Texas A&M takes the lead. 5 seconds left here in this ball game, boys. Can he get a pass off? Can his receivers get downfield? They only bring 4. The pressure gets to him. He does get the shot off, and it's out of bounds. That's the ball game. The Texas A&M Aggies are headed to the semifinal. We got 2 11-2 squads duking it out here in the Rose Bowl. We got Miami. We got Michigan. Let's go Hurricanes. All right, we got a 3rd and 10 here, boys. Here we go. They're going to take a shot deep in. Oh, my goodness, that could have been it. 4th and 10. Do not get beat deep. Why are we pressing on the outside? Why are we pressing on the outside when they need to go 4th and 10? They're probably going to take a shot to the end zone again. Oh, he almost gets sacked, and what a play by the DB, knocking the ball loose. What a game, though, man. This is a hell of a game here in Pasadena, and the Hurricanes are going to move on, and I'm not going to act like I'm not happy that they did it. All right, boys, here we go. Texas A&M taking on Bama here at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. We're in Atlanta, baby. And you already know there's some good football that happens here. Let's see who's going to come out on top and push their ticket to the Natty. Texas A&M didn't come to play in this one, boys. 34-19 is your final score, and they are going to be the first ever team with 4 losses to make it to the College Football Playoff Championship. All right, boys, here we go. We are in the Fiesta Bowl, and what better matchup than to have a rivalry matchup, the Gators taking on the Hurricanes for a trip to the Natty. Let's get into it. All right, boys, we got OT. Miami has the rock first. 35-35, man. Who's going to come out on top of this game? They're going to go to a little RPO action to the tight end. He picks up 1. Shotgun, looking back to pass. They barely bring 4. He delivers a shot. It's a strike. They're at the 5-yard line. What a throw, getting hit. All right, first and goal here. They got 4 chances to try to get it in. Throw the ball, get rid of the ball, don't take a sack. He takes a sack, he fumbles it. Miami recovers it. Wow, is that lucky. That was a terrible, terrible decision to hold on to the ball there by the quarterback. He's gonna hand this one off, and there's gonna be coming back. What a run too, but it looks like there's holding on the play. So second and goal from the 24, man. This is insane. They were at the 5-yard line. They're going to go to the air again. They bring pressure. They throw a good pass over the middle. He picks up a good chunk of yards. Now third and goal, back to the 14-yard line after the 10-yard pickup. They got to try to get closer to the end zone or into the end zone. They only bring 4. He's surveying. He's almost take a bad sack. He throws it out of the back of the end zone. The kick team for Miami is going to come out here, and they're going to extend the lead, but they're going to put a lot of pressure on their own defense, man. The hold is down, the kick is up, and the kick is good. Then they get off the field and hold them to 3. Can they get a turnover? They bring 4. They're getting pressure on the QB. He rolls out. Fumble. No, they call that an incomplete pass. That brings out the Florida Gators kick team. They're looking to tie this one up here, boys. The hold is down. The kick is up, and the kick is good. So Florida right back on the offensive side of things here at OT. Both teams, if they score a touchdown, have to go for 2. It's a man open over the middle, but it's underthrown. Second and 10 here. Hurricanes defense is looking good. They're getting a lot of pressure on the QB. They're forced them to make bad throws, but they go with a nice bubble screen there, nearly picking up the first. Third and 1. They're coming out in a pistol set. Back to pass. Surveying. And what a catch by that tight end, I believe. Our first and goal here for the Gators. Can the Hurricanes get a stop? Quarterback's back to pass, and he's got a man wide open. That's 6 for the Gators. All right, this is huge here. If they can stop them from going for 2, from getting to 2. We got 2 receivers on the right-hand side. Little offset pistol look. Man in motion. It's a jet sweep, and he is stuffed short. Miami gets to stop. They just got to score a touchdown and get a 2-point conversion. Don't have to panic. They're in, good situation. Quarterback back to pass. He has all day to throw. He's got another wide open receiver, and he's down. Do they give him the 10? They do give him the 10-yard line. So first and goal here for the Miami Hurricanes, man. This is a crazy game so far. Quarterback back to pass. He's surveying, and back in the end zone, he's got a receiver. Touchdown Hurricanes. They got to go for 2. If they pick this up, they're going to the Natty. All right, boys, this is it. This is for the game right here. 2-point conversion for the rest of their lives. The blitz is coming off the edge, and he overshoots his man right out of the backfield. The pressure got to him. All right, boys, both teams have to go for alternating 2-point conversions here to see who is going to go to the national championship. Back to pass is Miami. He's got a man wide open over the middle. Here comes the Florida Gator offense. You already know the vibes. They got to do the same thing. Can the Hurricanes get off the field and get a stop here, man? They stopped him earlier on a 2-point conversion, and they don't stop him here. He fights his way in the end zone. We got a wild one here in Arizona, man, here in Phoenix. Florida Gators right back on the offensive side of things. Miami just needs to stop here, boys. Let's go. Man in motion, jet sweep. Yes, sir, and it is stuffed short. They stopped it earlier on the 2-point conversion. They stop it again. Not really sure why they went to it. Once again, a 2-point conversion for the ball game here for the Hurricanes. They're coming out in the more traditional shotgun set. We got a man in motion. Please don't put it on the ground. They hand it off to number 30. And I lied. He gets into the end zone. 2-point conversion good for the Hurricanes, and they're going to the national championship. 48-46 is your final score in this one. That was an absolute instant classic, but the Boo F Baby Gators take the L. Let's go. I guarantee this isn't a national championship game that you had in mind, but we got the Texas A&M Aggies taking on the Miami Hurricanes. It's about to go down. Let's get it. All right, boys, so the final championship of the Sim ended up being an absolute blowout. The Miami Hurricanes come out here and handle business versus the 4-loss Texas A&M Aggies. They're now the 5-loss Aggies, and they get the job done 48-27. What a season by the Hurricanes. They didn't make their conference championship. They were an at-large team, you know what I'm saying? And they had a tough road to this national championship, and in the end, they got it done, and I couldn't be any more proud as a Hurricane fan. So I felt like with these new conferences, we've seen a great amount of parity throughout this whole entire sim. But you guys let me know down in the comment section below how you thought things went. If you felt like we had a good different mixture of teams every year in the college football playoffs. And if you guys enjoyed this video, stop and smash that like button. And that's how I know if you guys want to see more of these in the future. I'm out of here. Peace.
Ooh, when the time's right, I light up, ride off in sunsets and Corvettes like I'm the plug-in.